In this video, we'll do an example. So we're going to have this is a two-part example. We're going to define a flowchart. We're going to draw a flowchart, and then we're going to implement that flowchart in Java. And so we're going to do that. That will be two videos. So make sure you watch both of them. So here's the example we're going to do. We want to design a program using a flowchart to prompt the user for the name of their state and the city they live in. If they live in San Antonio, Texas, tell them that you are their neighbor. If they live in Austin, Texas, tell them that they live in the capital city. If they live anywhere else in Texas, tell them you have to visit their town. Outside of Texas, ask them if they want to move to their town. So here we have two values that we're entering, a city and a state. So we'll prompt the user for two values. And then we'll use a series of if and else statements and the and operator to test for these values to see what the input is and which of these four options we want to output. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to draw my flowchart using Google Drawings. So I'm going to come to Google and open Google Drawings. Okay, I'll go ahead and name this exercise if statements. Okay. Then I want to make my drawing surface equal to a full-size sheet of paper. So I'm going to say page setup. I'm going to say I want this to be custom 8.5 by 11 inches. And now I'm drawing on what will print out to a single piece of paper. Now remember, I'm going to have a fairly large flowchart here, so I want to make sure that I am using appropriate font sizes so that I can get my whole flowchart on a single page, because I should be able to do this all on a single page. Okay, we'll have to move the boxes around a little bit to make sure that it fits. So let's go ahead and start with a title. So let's put some text on there. Okay, let's go ahead and make that bold. We'll make the title fairly large. Okay, and then we'll just move it so that it's centered on the page like that. Okay. So now we need to create the end, the start and the end of the flowchart, and then we'll do some declarations, and then we'll do some output and input, and then we'll do an if statement with some outputs. So we're going to use several different symbols there. So let's start with the starting and ending. So this is the little pillbox. We'll say start here. Now that's very big, right? So that's pretty big on my page. So I'm going to make that smaller because I don't really need it to be that big. I'm also going to make the background transparent. Okay. I'm not going to put my my connectors in yet, because I know that I'm going to have a bunch of boxes that I'm going to have to move around. So I'm going to wait and put my connectors in at the end once my code is correct. Okay, we can go back and look at our problem. We say flowchart to prompt user for the name of their state and city they live in. So we're going to need to declare two variables, and then we're going to have to display a prompt to ask the user to enter a state, and then do an input, and then a prompt to display this, ask them to enter the city, and then do an input on that. So let's go ahead and work on that. So we need declaration is going to be the square. So we can go ahead and put that in, make that transparent, and we'll say here, declare state, declare city. Okay. I can also zoom in. So if I'm using this a little, this is a little hard to read, maybe I can come in and say zoom in to 75%. And now I can just move around by scrolling up and down. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little smaller. See, if I have all that white space, see when it was like this, I have how much white space I have in here. That's just taking up space on the page, right? So if I make the box smaller, then I can eliminate that white space, and my flowchart will be smaller. Okay, so we'll put it there. Then we'll need we're going to do some input and output. So we'll need the parallelogram. So we put that in, make that transparent. This will be display, enter the state you live in. Okay, that's about the right size, so we'll put that over here. Okay, we're still doing okay on space. We may need to make these a little smaller actually. So we're going with, we have a 14 size font. Let's go ahead and make that, let's go ahead and reduce that down to 11. And then we can make our boxes a little smaller. Okay. I'm using the guides. See how I have the red guides there? I can use those guides to make all of my drawings the same size. Make all my boxes about the same size. Okay. And then line them up. So when the red line will tell you where I'm aligned. So right now I'm aligned in the center of those boxes. Okay. Then I'm just going to cut and paste this one because I'm just going to do that a couple of times. So I'm going to have 2 prompts and 2 inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and line those up. Okay, and they're pretty evenly spaced top to bottom. So then this will be an input. So if I ask them to enter the state, I display a message asking them to enter the state. Then I'm going to ask them to input state. And then I'm going to change this to say city where you live. And then this will be input city. Okay. Okay, so now I have an input. So now I can do an if statement, a series of if statements. So the first thing I want to do, let's look at the code again. This says if you live in San Antonio, Texas, then do something. If you live in Austin, Texas, then do something. If anywhere else in Texas, then you can, then you have that. And if it's not in Texas, then we go. So these first 3 require the state to be Texas. And then, so we can do a nested if here. We could do a compound if San Antonio and Texas, if Austin and Texas, if not Texas. We could do that, and then it would use the and operator. We could also do it as a nested if, but this is asking us to use the and operator, so let's go ahead and do that. So we'll do 4 if statements. If San Antonio and Texas, if Austin and Texas, and then we'll do a non-compound if Texas, and then we'll do outside Texas. So let's go back here. So let's kind of plan where we're going to put this. So let's see, let's move these up a little bit so we're not using up space. So let's start with, let's put an if statement here, okay? So I think what we're going to wind up doing here is we're going to get to the bottom of the page, and then we're going to go back to the top of the page with some of our other statements. So let's go ahead and put, we're going to put a decision structure. So we need the diamond. Okay, make that transparent. And we'll say if state equals San Antonio and, whoops, if state equals Texas, rather. We'll have to those in single quotes, and we'll have to work on the spacing here in a minute. And city equals San Antonio. Okay, let's go ahead and make that a little wider. See if we can get it to fit in there. That looks okay. That's pretty good. That's good enough. So let's go ahead and line that up. We'll line it up right there. So then this is, so if it's true, then so if this is true, then we're going to want to display a message. If it's false, we're going to want to do something else. So in this case, if it's true, let's come out the bottom, and then we'll display our message. If it's false, we'll come out the side, and we'll go up to the top. Okay. So let's go ahead and implement that. So we're going to have, this will be the true down the bottom. So the true will require a display. So I'm just going to copy my display box. And here I'm going to say display let's see, what does it say? It says, if they live in San Antonio, Texas, display that you are my neighbor. Okay. If it's not true, then we'll do another if statement. Okay, so now so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a connector that will come up here to the top, and we'll put another if statement up here at the top. Okay, so we'll just put it right there. And so this one will be if state is Texas and city is Austin. Then we'll display something. So in that case, what we're going to do here is we'll put one out the side to the right, and then go down to the bottom for the other expressions. So we'll need another display. This says, so this will be our display over here. This will say display, you live in the capital city. And then this will be true, this will be false coming down this way. If we have false, we'll have another if statement. Let's line that up. This will be if state equals Texas. Okay. Then we'll have a display over here on the side. Otherwise, we'll go to the bottom, and then here we'll have just another display. Okay. Let's say, so this says, if it's Austin, live in the capital city. If it's anywhere else in Texas, tell them we hope to visit their town. Display, I hope to visit your town. Here, this can say, maybe you should move to Texas. Okay. And the answer is here. This is just a made up example, remember? So, okay, so now we have all of the same. So we're about ready. So let's put in the end, and then let's verify it, and then we can put in our connectors. Okay. All right. So we're going to start. We're going to ask you to, we're going to declare two variables, city and state. We're going to ask you to enter the state you live in. We're going to input the state. We're going to ask you to enter the city you live in. We're going to input the city. Then we're going to test if the city is Texas or if the state is Texas and the city of San Antonio. If that's true, we're going to display this. And then we're going to come to the end. Okay. So our connector here will be true down the bottom. And then if this is true, it's going to come in and connect right in here at the end statement, because we're not going to do any of this. If it's false, we're going to use our connector to come up here to this if statement. We're going to say if state equals Texas and city equals Austin. We need a double equal there. Okay. Then if that's true, then we'll display this, and then our connector here will come around and play in here. So we need to make room for that connector. So let's move all this over a little bit. So we need to have room for our connectors. Because here, if our connector comes out here, it's going to be, if it's true, we're going to display this. And then our connector at the bottom here is going to come around and skip these and come into the end. Our last one is state equals Texas. Then we'll display this. And then the connector will exit here and come in here. So we'll have three points coming out of this display, and this display. All of those will come into we'll rejoin our logic here right before the end statement. So that means that if we come out of the true blocks of any of these, then we won't execute the other if statements. Okay. All right, let's see if we can spread these out just a little bit. We've got a little bit of room, so let's use it. make this as readable as possible. Because remember, we're going to put these connectors in. And so we want to have enough space to be able to see the connectors. That probably works. You can get really detailed with these things, which the most important thing you want to do in the flowchart is to make sure that it's easy to read. That's really the single most important step in the flowchart, is that the logic is easy to read and easy to follow. And we'll move these down just a little bit so that we can have some room for our connectors. Okay, easy to read, clear. Those are the most important things. So, okay, I think we're good. So let's put in our connectors. We're going to use an arrow. So from start, we're going to come into here. And then we're going to come into here. And then we're going to come here. Come here. Okay, those are looking good. So now we'll have connector here. Let's see, and then we'll want an elbow connector for this one because it's going to be curved. Okay, so we use the elbow connector for that. And then let's do another arrow that comes from here and from here. And then we'll use the elbow connector to come into here. The elbow connector comes in here. And then the elbow connector comes, let's see, so we'll do the arrow here to the end statement. And then we'll do the elbow connector from here into the end, from here into the end, and from here into the end, and then we'll pull this. Let's see, let's delete that one. That one didn't come out right. Okay, we want an elbow connector and we want it to come from here to the bottom. So we'll do it like that, okay? And then we'll get rid of this. Okay, there we go. So let's see. So let's look. So that's a little messy, but it seems like it's going to read okay. So let's move that over, get that line straight if we can. So we're going to start. We're going to declare two variables. We're going to enter the state. We're going to ask them to enter the state. We're going to prompt. Let's put a double quotes around that. Then we're going to let them enter the state. Then we're going to prompt to enter the city. We're going to let them input the city. Then we're going to test if the state is equal to Texas and the city is equal to San Antonio. If this is false, so we need to label that. So we need to put a text box. So this will be true. Okay. And we can copy that text box because we're going to need one over here that says false. Okay, and we'll need another true here. This will be true right there. I'm just going to paste these in, copy and paste. That'll be true here. Paste another one. Let's see, I don't need another one. I need a false. And so this will be false on that one. And then this will be false on this one. Okay. So now we've labeled our ins and outs. So let's read it through again. So let's see, this font is bigger, so we can make this smaller. Let's make that 11. So it fits better. Let's make this 11. Okay, just so it's all the same. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So these are actually a little big. We could make them smaller if we wanted, but I think they're all right for now. So let's read it through again. So start, declare two variables, enter the state. I get the state, ask for the city, they enter the city. Then I do a test. If that's true, then I display you are my neighbor, and then I come out here and the program ends. If this is false, then I come into this if statement and I check if the state is Texas and the city is Austin, then I display you live in the capital city, and then I come over here and I exit. If it's false, then I ask, is the state equal to Texas? And then I say, I'll hope to visit your town soon, and then I come over here and exit the program. If this is false, let's put that closer up here. Then I display, maybe you should move to Texas, and then we exit. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good. That is a flow chart that demonstrates the logic for this particular exercise. There's a subsequent video where we'll implement this in Java. So make sure you watch that one.